Hello and welcome to this video on florals with gold foil. This is something new I haven't played around with before, but was a lot of fun to do. Today we're going to be using Stonehenge Aqua Coldpress black paper. It's kind of thick and reminds me a bit of cloth actually. I've recently gotten into floral designs, as you can see here in my sketchbook page, and I've been particularly inspired by a book called Florals by Hand, written by Alli Koch. I honestly have no idea if that's how you say her name or not, but it walks you through step-by-steps on how to do simplified versions of a lot of different realistic flowers, but she also encourages you to not only draw them the way that she's showing you, but to create your own ways. So here I am coming up with some different shape designs for these florals to make them look cohesive. Just started with like circle, triangle, things like that. And I honestly like how all of these turned out. I'll probably do them all at some point. But I'd already decided on what kinds of flowers I wanted to do, so it just was a matter of how I wanted to arrange them. In my early tests of using the gold foil, I discovered it's actually easier to lay the foil flat if you put parchment paper or wax paper on top of it, which is what you've seen me cut here. The foil's not down on the paper yet because I wanted just to be able to center my design and make sure that it fills the paper quite nicely. You'll see me throughout this struggle hardcore at finding a pen or marker that would consistently write on the paper. This Faber-Castell fine liner that I'm using right now did pretty good to start with on the first ones, and then just absolutely bit the dust on the daisy-like flowers. So I tried fine line Sharpies and other kinds of markers, and they kind of worked also, but I figured as long as I had an indent of the flower into the paper, I could still see where I needed to trace over it. So I'm just filling out the design with kind of smaller bits of flowers now. You center the big ones and then fill it in with smaller pieces. So here is my laid out design. So now it's time for the gold foil. I cut it smaller than the paper just slightly because I worried if it went over the edges of the paper I wasn't going to be able to see the margins to make sure that my design was completely centered or not. So I stretched out the gold foil with some tape and then put the parchment paper on top and taped it down. The pen I'm using is a heat transfer foil quill by We Are Memory Keepers. It acts a little bit like a soldering iron in terms of the tip gets pretty hot, but it doesn't get as hot as a soldering iron. And it's meant specifically for transferring this kind of foil and having small designs. The tip is quite small. So I'm just going over all of my lines. You have to press a little hard onto the foil. And here is the finished product beforehand. And I have two clips here of it peeling back so you can see the finished product. It's super satisfying to see the peel. There's the final design on a shiny gold foil on the black paper. Overall, the foil transferred really well. There's a couple lines that I forgot to go over, and I fixed these after the video, so it doesn't really show it here. And like the right daisy has a couple spots, but I honestly find the imperfections a little bit pretty. I love the leftover foil. You can see the lines through the back of where the foil transferred. But the shine of the foil is so nice. I have a couple different colors of foil, but this one is like a bronzy gold color, and it shows up, I think, the best on the black paper. So here is my final design, including the shiny reflections from the light. So thank you everybody for watching and tuning in. I might make more of these because it was super duper fun to do.